Yo. Good morning, y'all. Morning. I know it's early because before it's Saturday or whatever, but welcome to another episode of Train of Thought as we go over fighting game concepts and all that other good stuff. I hope y'all feeling all right. And to anybody that was tuning in last night to the Tekken TV stream, it was a fun time. I had my drink and playing some good matches. Shout outs to everybody who tuned in. And of course, shout out to all of the new followers we got last night. And again, shout out to the homie, the Evil Hex, for donating $50 last night. That was clutch. Very unexpected. But shouts out to you once again. But as you can see, yes, today's episode, I cleverly titled it Putting You on Punishment. And we're pretty much going to go over the concept of punishment in fighting games. This is usually a concept lost primarily by newer players, but even some vets miss out on some things as far as punishment. And truthfully, the most effective way to get the most out of punishment is of course hitting practice mode and just doing your research and building up your knowledge as much as you can. So, because what people have to realize, this is why I like this statement, defense wins championships, or even defense can turn into offense. That's as a whole, punishment in general. And that's why I love how closely linked sports games and fighting games are, because both of them are competitive avenues, but the concept is pretty universal. Like for instance, if I had to use football, a form of punishment, if you applied it to like football, is let's say you're on defense, you're reading the opponent or the other opposing team's offense, so then you're now setting up to punish whatever they try to do. Let's say the quarterback tries to do a slot pass, so you would probably set up your middle linebackers to kind of cover that middle area. Or if they're doing it to the outside, you want your outside, like it's pretty much making a read before anything even really happens. And then based on that read, yo, what's up, Reeds? It's funny you popped in here and I said that. But what's going on, man? I hope you're having a good morning. But you're pretty much making a read, and then once you make that read, and if it's a good read, you could possibly get a interception out of that. You would possibly get an interception, and then that defense would then convert over to now you got to score. So that's pretty much what it is. Lil Bone 3953, what's going on? Nah, that actually was great timing. That was actually awesome timing. But yeah, that's pretty much, if I had to relate it to sports. But I do have, my nice little slides set up for y'all, man. I gotta have the slides, the presentation. This is somewhat like class. So kids, like I said, this episode is putting you on punishment. But you see, I got the little punishment trainer image right there from Tekken 7. But yeah, like I said, this is a concept that's commonly lost by new players. and which is perfectly natural because when you're a new player, you're still learning, you're still building up your knowledge further. So you're not in a bad space. But the important part is you then would begin to learn what you need to learn though as moving forward. So talking about punishment, you hear this term a lot, well, what is punishment exactly? Okay, well, punishment is when you take advantage of your opponent's negative frames and you respond with the proper attack required for said situations. Since this can vary, and that's just a funny meme picture right there. But yes, not every situation will allow the same response. So you have to pay attention. This is why I say awareness is very important. It's very important. Knowledge and awareness is very important. But you need the knowledge first. Because if you don't have the knowledge, how can you react or even respond anyway? But awareness is key. It's definitely key and plays a part in good punishment. And as I mentioned, there are various situations, and like I said, what I mean by like various situations is whether it's like if I had to give an example, let's go to the Tekken side of things. Since I'm a Tekken player primarily, but you have a negative 15 move. Now, y'all hear the term optimization a lot. This even applies with punishment. Because, damage optimization is on offense and defense. But with punishment, you have a negative 15 move on block. Now, you have various responses that you can do. Of course, I think the obvious one would be if you have a 15 frame move to use that. Yes, you are very correct when it comes to that. Wait, hold on, y'all. Hold on real quick. Where was I? Let me see. But yeah, typically, you would use the 15 frame move, as I was saying. Sorry about that, y'all. That was a phone call. And you would, yeah, you were correct. But again, like I said, situations can vary. So that might not always be the correct option. And I will give a visual example of why. But you are on the right track when it comes to that. So, well, to some players, a punishment look like a normal move to a random player. If you played the same for a while, you can tell the difference. Yeah. And then, like, for example, with the hop kick, not everyone knows or is able to do their max punish at 13 frames. Right, that's what I'm saying. This is why I always say the situation can vary. So, and we're going to further dig deep into that during this podcast, just to help you further understand punishment, since punishment can be it can be simple but vast at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, the simple part of it is knowing what to do, but the vast part can come with properly applying it in whatever situation that you're stuck in. Let's see. So we now know what punishment is exactly. So, different types of punishment. You have block, you have whiff, you have sidestepping, Sidewalking, which is primarily 3D games, Anti-Air, which is primarily 2D games, and what I like to call string interruption. And we're going to, in detail, talk more about it. We kind of, went over block a little bit, but just to reiterate that a little more, but it's pretty much taking advantage of negative frames on block. And this applies in every fighting game. It's not just Tekken. Like in Street Fighter, if something is -9, then you would use your -9 move or whatever, and so on and so on. So the beautiful part about punishment is that it's a very general concept, and if you just have the fundamental knowledge of punishment, it carries over to every single fighting game. You just have to have the knowledge of said game and mechanics to apply your fundamentals of punishment. So that's the beautiful part about it. So once you learn this, it sticks and works everywhere, primarily. So but yeah, block punishment pretty much taking advantage of negative frames on block and responding accordingly. So to me, I say it's one of the harder forms of punishment because it requires so much specific knowledge. So you definitely have to, in my opinion, practice this one pretty consistently. Like pretty consistently. Let me see. I just seen what Reed said. You were responding to Lil Bone. Good point. It sucks, especially because in the past you didn't have a lot of luxury knowing what frames certain moves were and what to use to respond. I'm actually going to touch on that a little bit. Wait, hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. But yeah, just to further touch on that, you don't necessarily have to know frames specifically. Some people play off feel, but this is like, it's not everybody though. Like some players, they just look at something and it looks like it's horribly unsafe, and then they just respond. Even like some of the strongest players that like for example, like Anakin didn't know frames for a long time, but he just had a talented ability to just play off feel, and you see it and you react. So frames, I'm not gonna say frames are end all to be all. You don't absolutely have to know them, but it helps in the long run. Megas, what's going on, man? Yeah, you don't have to know them, but it helps a whole lot. Like to me, when you had a knowledge, it buffs your intelligence on how to respond to situations. And that's like anything in life. Once you learn something or learn how to do something, and the knowledge is there, you know what to do. So that's pretty much just to touch on what Reed responded to Lil Bone in the chat. But yeah, block punishment definitely takes pretty consistent practice and studying too, if you want to learn like the frames. And you got to be consistent with it. You can't just half-ass it. Next type of punishment is whiff punishment. This is my favorite personally. If anybody knows me, I love catching whiffs. But whiff punishment is pretty much using the spacing game to take advantage. It's still negative frames, but in this situation, they're called recovery frames. But when you read frame data, you're negative because you're at disadvantage. The negative just stands for disadvantage. Just keep that in mind when you're looking at frames. Plus means advantage, negative means disadvantage. So whenever you see a negative, when you're reading frame data, you're like, okay, they're at a disadvantage. But whenever you see plus, the opponent is at an advantage. But yes, whiff punishment is basically taking advantage of whiffed negative recovery frames and responding accordingly again. Now in these situations on whiffs, the best type of response obviously is usually a launch, as you would say, but again, that varying situation still can occur, and I'm gonna do a visual representation of that as well, just to help y'all further understand that. But I'm gonna do that, when we get to that point of the cast, because I hearing somebody talk about it is good, but when you can visually see it, it helps a lot too. But yes, whiff punishment, I love it. I love it. As people call it, the train special. When they watch me stream or play, that's definitely a trademark of my play style indeed. But moving on, sidestepping and sidewalking. Now this is primarily a 3D game concept because with 3D games, you have a third dimensional plane of movement, which is the sidestepping and sidewalking, which is why at times a lot of people are a bit intimidated by 3D games, because that extra plane of movement, which opens up a whole different spectrum when it comes to offense and defense, because now you have to think about people sidestepping you. Like I said, that's the read special. That's the read special. Got the read. Dang, see, your name just works for that concept. But anyway, so sidestepping and sidewalking, the usage is primarily used to usually take advantage of linear moves, or say if your opponent is doing this a sequence of stuff that may have, like, let's say they do a string and like the second hit may have slow startup or something like that, or it's linear. You can step that part or sidewalk it, and you have to know when to use either one too, because sometimes sidestepping works and then sometimes you may have to sidewalk, and that's usually very dependent on the active frames of a move, possibly in tracking. And tracking is when the move follows you. And if a move has very strong tracking, you usually have to, but it still has like a factor where you can get around it, you usually have to sidewalk. But this is going to take a lot of intricate practice and studying to know what to do. And usually moves or characters have like a weak side where the tracking may be weaker to the left or to the right. And like I said, again, this is very intricate. That's why 3D games can be intimidating. But once you learn and acquire the knowledge, oh man, the payoff. That's the good part, is the reward. So you just have to sit down like any other form of practice and punishment, and lab. You have to be a lab rat, particularly. So get in there, put on your lab coat, and get to work real quick. And of course, I do a visual of that. And Next up, we have anti-air. Now, this is more prevalent or primary in 2D games since there's no third dimensional plane of movement. So, and anti-air is pretty much when your opponent is jumping in the air and you use a specific move that has the property to check somebody jumping at you, and that's what an anti-air is. So like probably the most popular form of anti-air in 2D game history is the DP, which is short for Dragon Punch, which originates from Street Fighter, or Shoryuken, as most people know. But people generally use the term Dragon Punch or DP across the board in like various 2D games simply because the input is the same. Which is forward, down, forward usually, or like a zigzag forward, and punch button. All right, Reed. All right, yeah, man. Make sure the fam is good. For sure. Thanks for stopping through. But yeah, that's pretty much what anti-air is. Or using a button, you may use a standing heavy kick or standing light kick. Whatever game you're playing at the time. Whatever button, whatever system they use, you just would generally apply that. Like I said, the same. This is very general in 2D games, no matter what you're playing. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, and even like I said, anime fighters too, Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, Unio, Grand Blue, whatever. All of them have this very general concept, and it doesn't really change too much. But that's pretty much what anti-air is. You can even anti-air with supers which is of course the animation where you usually do like a double quarter circle forward and then button or whatever input it is. So, but like I said, it's 2D games, so if you don't really play 2D games much, it's not going to incredibly affect you. But if you do decide to learn or try one, that's a nice thing to know when you're playing, or a nice skill to have, because it definitely, you could kill somebody just anti-airing them over and over if they jump too much. So I would definitely recommend learning that. And then last but not least, I briefly mentioned it, was sidewalking and sidestepping in 3D games, but strings are not just in 3D fighters. So string interruption. Now this type of punishment is very intricate as well, because you have to have knowledge of the entire string being used against you. But the unique part about this is that the previous concepts of at least the first three, they kind of weave together into this, because you can apply the knowledge from those to this. Because say, again, like I mentioned in the sidestep and side walking, when I was going over that briefly, if the string has like a part where you can either duck or sidewalk or sidestep or stuff like that, you could duck and then respond with a move. But the key to that is you can't respond with something too slow, or because if another hit is coming right after that, which it usually is, because I did say that's the second hit, you have to respond with a move that has a quick enough amount of frames to interrupt the string. Keyword interruption. And also, or if the last hit has it, you can duck that and punish them for that, or block it and punish them, or if they're doing strings from like halfway across the screen, you can whiff punish. So these concepts do interact with each other, even with strings. You just have to, again, have the knowledge. punishment. Great punishers usually have a lot of knowledge. I think the biggest things for that is, as far as that is, knowledge, awareness, reactions. Or if I had to, we'll just say car. You gotta have car to be a great punisher. You know, K-A-R. Wow. Even though car is normally C, but we gonna do that. Don't steal that. Don't steal that. If I hear somebody say that, I know they took it from this podcast. But car, knowledge, awareness, reactions. And that is damn, that is good. I am definitely keeping it. Yeah, car. When you're a great punisher, you know, you're able to practice car. You're able to do car. But yeah, knowledge, awareness, reactions. That is definitely hold on. Actually, back to the instrumentals. I meant to switch the playlist. Hold on. There we go. Okay, ginseng. There we go. Since I'm doing a lot of talking. But yeah, car. So I'm gonna have to put that on Twitter. But yeah, those are the primary types of punishment. So with knowing all these, you definitely want to sit down, hit that laboratory, and develop your game when it comes to this, because this is to me one of the vital things in fighting games, because it's a concept of defense that's very, very prevalent at higher levels. Because I'm not saying that, you know, it can't exist at low levels, but at low levels, you know, people really don't have the knowledge. They're still just learning. So you can do a lot of unsafe stuff and get away with it, usually. But at higher levels, that's not the case. At higher levels, if you try to do those same antics, you might die for it. So, but if you want to up your game and increase your skill or whatnot, this is a very important concept to grasp to help you reach the next level. You know, as you grow and evolve as a player, it's very important. Very important. It's one of the things that my teacher who taught me Tekken told me to do or work on, and I even tell myself to this day I got to get back to practicing as much as I was, like, I think when T7 first came out, like them first 2 years, I was practicing hard. Like, I got to get back to that. Cause you know, there's you know, since the release of the game, new characters, new things, stuff changes. So you gotta constantly reboot and refresh yourself. You know, cause in a lot of cases, I, you know, just try to go off legacy knowledge since I've been playing Tekken for like, at this point, I've been playing since I was a kid, but competitively I've been playing for probably about a decade, roughly now. About a decade, 9 years, something like that. But I got some time in. And then overall I've been playing for over 15 years, so it's a lot of legacy knowledge there. But this is a concept you have to ingrain in your head. You have to. So, hold on, let me see here. I'm going to open up this other window. Like I said, I'm give y'all some visuals. y'all some visuals. Let me see. Let's see, yada. Okay. Wait. Is this going off again? Hold on, y'all. 1 second. I'm back. So, like I said, I would be help giving visual concepts, just to, help people further understand a little bit. So you may see a few games real quick, but a couple, I should say, not a few, couple. Let's go to practice mode.
Welcome to the King of Iron Fist Tournament 7. Fakum Lam. Martial law.
So, like I said, I'm going to also try to show those variant situations as well. Because like I said, not every situation will require the same response. So, and this is what the line of separating good punishment from great punishment. So, hold on, I got you. It must be this album because my general sound is actually low. Hold on. Give me 1 sec to adjust it. How's that? Is that better, Magus? Okay. So, as we all know, most modern fighting games of now have a training function to where you can record. Now, I recommend you utilizing this the most in practice mode. Of course, if you're a new player, you can choose your moves that you have problems with when you're a beginner. Matter of fact, I'll just give an example of that. So, You have the ability to choose strings, and then you can practice, all types of various forms of punishment, or avoiding practicing how to deal with stuff. You can choose the move, but as you get better and improve, that record function will become a little more vital, simply because if you lost to something specific, you can practice how to punish it. Like, case in point, you're going against a law player and they keep getting you with fake somersault mix-ups into, like, say, slide. You keep getting hit by that. So you like, damn. Now that you can't specifically choose on the move list. So again, this is why I say, as stuff advances, you have to change up, and start using that record function. So now you've recorded that sequence, and then once you record that sequence, you can then go over different ways to deal with it. So, Ant, what's going on, man? I'm doing good. You know what I'm saying? The podcast going on right now. Thanks for tuning in. So yeah, you recorded that. Now you see, I can block it. He's very negative. See, that's a punish. So, that's a punish too, but that's not the best. So you have to sit around and explore your options. Once you know what you can do, it makes dealing with certain stuff a lot easier. Of course, probably one of the best options with this situation right here with Bakugan is that you punish the slide. That's punishment. Block punishment to be with that. But and of course, you could space, jump over. There's various ways you can deal with this, but you want the most optimal response. Like, if you can make your opponent even scared to go for said situation, then your punishment was on point. And of course, that's usually how you deal with it. You block, use a wild standing move, and then pick them back up for like a combo situation. Because you could sidewalk, but you're not gonna get much. Like, you just avoid it. You know what I'm saying? So that's not, like I said, situations. You have to not only punish the move, but you have to react to the situation as well. Because if you don't use the correct punish, you could miss out on damage, lose positional advantage. There's a whole lot. Now, I'm gonna switch stages and present another situation. You ain't never lied. Fine, you ain't never lied. You gotta know how to respond to them situations. Same thing with fighting games. You don't have the correct response, you're gonna be dealing with some stuff. Is it Daigon's Killer? Is that how I say it? I hate messing up Twitch names. But thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. So remember, I brought up situations, right? Now, for Law's flip kick, we know that if you block it, it's negative 17. So usually, you know, send him to the sky. You know what I'm saying? But what if you hit a wall? See? Not that good, is it? Even though it's the correct punish. But it's the correct punish. See? I can't get that though. Wait, hold on, let me see. Nope, wait. See, but the wall splat gonna make him drop. Actually, let me just set it near the wall. So, see, but the wall splat is too low. And the most I'm gonna get, maybe that. Let me see. And that's cool, I guess. That's cool, I guess, you know. But I'm trying to make it hurt. So he does that. Yeah, so see that damage difference? Of course I'm enraged, but the damage difference. But yeah. Compared to me, obviously, like I said, that's a correct punish. It is. But considering his body is dropping, and you're not gonna get the best damage that you could. And this is what I meant by situations vary, because when a situation changes or it calls for something different or a different response, that quote unquote correct punish may not necessarily be the correct punish. Because, like I said, part of good punishment or great punishment as well is the optimization. And it's not just damage, but taking the most advantage of the situation. So, case in point, you saw when I did this. Oops, my bad. See? Now I'm at the wall. Terrible punish. So now I can get oppressed at the wall, and now I have to fight off the wall after going for that punishment. Whereas this, he's still at the wall, so if he isn't dead, I can oppress. I can further oppress. Thanks, Fine. That's my whole purpose for doing this episode, because this concept a lot of people get confused or lost on. But as you can see, that's a much better punish. I still have my positioning. I'm still at advantage. He still has to fight off the wall. Like I said, if he's still alive, you know, at the wall, 50-50s are a bit more prevalent. So he has to fight. Oh, that was an up. Hey, did y'all see that? That little icon that's showing up on frame. Oh, they added that to the update. Oh, that's dope. They said the game sound is still a little loud. Hold on. All right, probably about right there. That's better. Is that better, Daigon? But that's part of the update. They put, you know, it puts you in. Oh, that's dope. That's a cool little tidbit. But yeah, as you can see, much better punish, and I'm still at advantage. I didn't lose my advantage. Whereas this, yes, it's a punch. Oh, hold on, wait, my bad, too fast. But this, it's a punish, but like I said, I didn't do as much damage as I could have, and that's not consistent. It's not gonna consistently interact like that either. I may switch sides. We don't want that. We want it to be. We want consistency. So. See, and I'm still at advantage, and then even if they decide to like get up with something after that, I could then punish that, because they don't have to take a risk and like do a get up kick or something like that. And then even with, but this also falls into fully understanding your character and what your character can do. Like for instance with Fahkumram, and shout outs to my bro Footwork, 313 Footwork, the bro, he came up with this with Fahkumram, is that when you wall splat with Fak, so case in point he does this, I am plus 26 doing that. Plus 26. So there's not much you can do. You can't. The most you can do, the best thing to do is side roll, but even if you side roll. So you saw I punished him with that. So, but I'm just going to show you an example of side roll. So we're going to. Okay. So I do that. Plus 26. You pretty much, even if you side roll, I can maintain pressure. And that's what makes that so scary. So if you get up with anything, you liable to get counter hit. And we all know that bounces you on counter hit. So it's best to just play defense after that. Plus 26. That is horrifying at the wall. Like that. That is horrifying. So let's go back to what we're doing. So say flip kick. Say if I don't have rage, and then if he tries to get up with anything, it's gonna be pretty bad for him. And then he has other options too. Like he also has this. That's plus 18, but the plus 26 is absolutely. See, because I can even keep you there and make you eat that if you don't side roll. So it's very scary to deal with. And that's something you would do if you if you didn't have rage. To me that's like one of the best options you could do. Especially if you're not about to kill. Now if you're about to kill, go for the kill. So and going for the kill will probably be primarily it. And then your plus after that as well. That's why I say it's best to go for that. Unless you're fighting a character that it could possibly miss, You can do that, but like I said, you can switch sides. That's one reason why I don't consistently like doing that. This is much better, but I don't think it hits it. Well, I've hit little characters with it before, but it's not as consistent as mid to large. Maybe they might fix that. I don't know. But yeah, so. But if they're not about to die, I would recommend this. Your plus, you still got advantage. You know, you don't lose your advantage, and that's important. Let's see. Now, what else I'm gonna show? Now, with punishment, which is, y'all know me. That's my thing. So. I'm just gonna get them to do like, let's see, what a common thing that you see law players do. So say to get in, they might, you know, the 1, 2, 3, because it's -9 on block, so they can't get punished for it. So say you're in the neutral, you know, they just moving around, and of course they miss. See that? Yeah, now that's the sidewalking play. That's a good punish for sidewalk. Oh, I know. Now, what's making this harder is that they're dashing and hitting, which kind of increases the tracking a little bit. But you can still get around it. The best thing is when you see them dashing forward, put yourself in like neutral and then start sidewalking. It takes practice though. It's an annoying string. Damn. Dashing really increases that strength attack. Jeez. Wait, I wonder. No, that's the thing. Never mind. I was about to say, I wonder if I could. Now, of course, if you have a period, you know, you can cheat and then do that. You know, if you got a period, but everybody doesn't have that option. So. Yeah, if you sidestep, it's going to hit you for sure. So that's pretty much the punishment you can do. If you fog around and get behind law and he does that string. You know, that hurts, as you can see. Of course I got rage on, but even without rage, that combo does a lot of damage. But yeah, you are right, you can jab behind. Like I said, but that's pretty intricate. You know, but again, it's best to, you know, kind of have it on random so you can react. But yeah, if you're going against a law that's happy at doing that, you can jab check and then step back and see if they'll still go for it. But as you can see, sidewalking, I got behind them and got a load of damage. So and of course, if he were to whiff it, see with the first 2 hits, so I can do his standing forward. So, and that's a trade, but you know, it gets him off you. But I really don't have nothing super fast to interrupt that. This is the string in the gel, so. That is an annoying string, though. I see why they use it so like I said, it takes practice. Looks like that string is best to step to the right. That string. It's more consistent. Say this is what, Zilla? Oh, the artist? No, this is Ginseng. This is Ginseng. Matter of fact, I would just show you. This Ginseng's In Flight album. Some Other Time is the track. Yeah, that's the whole album. But yeah. Anyway, put that back down. Yo. What was I saying? So that string is best to. Looks like that's the sidewalk to the right. Your right side. The tracking is so weird on it though. That's one of those. That's an annoying string. But let me input another string that people, That's one. Now, no, I did not mean to do that. So that might be one you see now. You can punish that, of course, on block. But they do it from like. Oh, you gotta still got that one on too. But if they, see what happens? That's if you got rage though. But you see that damage? That was for whiffing a string. And of course you can interrupt it too if you space it. Of course, certain strings you can delay, so you might want to practice dealing with that too if they delay. But usually when the opponent delays a string, it gives an even bigger opportunity for an interruption for you. So in that situation, you kind of have to. It's who strikes while the iron's hot in that situation. So, my bad. Let me see, what else to go over? I think that generally touches on a lot of the earlier concepts that we talked about. So, now I'm gonna, as y'all know, I bought up 2D. Now we're gonna open up Street Fighter. Now, as y'all know, I bought up, cause I don't know if I got like the default music on still for Street Fighter. That's why I was like, hold on, wait a minute, I'm not sure. But I bought up, anti-airs. So, like I said, this is generally a 2D concept. Generally. stage. I'm just gonna jump in here. So, I love how fast the PC version starts. Just have to die here. So the dummy. Let's see, playback recording. I'm gonna just do automatic. I'm gonna do automatic. I forgot. I haven't used this in so long. Hold on. Is it? Oh wait, I gotta go to playback. I knew that. So as you see, the dummy is jumping at you, generally in the air. So you would then use a move that can catch them jumping in on you. That's anti-air. Make it a no-fly zone. You can even use special moves as well. What's up, Jack? You and your random facts, man. How you doing, though? Okay, you can even use special moves to anti-air. But generally, it's just stopping your opponent from jumping in on you. Like I said, this isn't every 2D game. I said so if you're going to explore the world of 2D, you definitely want to, definitely want to constantly practice this, because anti-airing in 2D can definitely make or break a lot of matches. Simply because since you can't sidestep and sidewalk like in 3D games, a primary way of moving across the screen will be jumping. But jumping consistently or constantly is not necessarily safe. So, in order, what's up, Lamar? This is basically speaking on punishment in fighting games. That's what this is talking about. But generally speaking, though, in 2D games, jumping is one of the ways you're going to move across the screen, as opposed to walking back and forth, which is obvious. You're going to do that with dashing, but jumping is another way to get across the screen, since say a government. Well, we are Venom. It's kind of weird to see. I actually know you for real, so people who I know for real in Twitch, I usually call them by their name. I just have a habit of doing that when I know you. But yeah, jumping will be one of the key things that you do to. Oh, I know, man. It's just early. But jumping across the screen, so you want to have your anti-airs on deck, and then they might jump with a button, but you still have to be ready to stop them from advancing towards you in that manner. And then since they take damage when you do that, again, like I said, you could kill somebody just from jumping too much. So this is why anti-airing is such an important skill in 2D games, because it can help you, like I said, it can help you close out matches actually kind of quick, especially if you're going against people who excessively jump, or people who per se lack a ground game. Like, ground game is very important in 2D. Since I play Tekken, I'm not used to jumping anyway, so I can sit on the ground and play the ground game. And when I play Street Fighter, I tend to only jump when I need to. Like, case in point, if the dummy is throwing a fireball per se. So you know what I'm saying? So they throw a fireball, and then I get in, and that's a punish, of course. They misspaced their fireball, so you know what I'm saying? It's very simple as far as concept, but that's pretty much jumping when you need to. So like I explained in Tekken, knowing when to sidewalk, sidestep, stuff like that. Again, these concepts are just fundamental ideas that carry over to every fighting game. You just have to learn said fighting game's mechanics. And once you learn that, just apply what you know. So
you know what I mean?
But close that. Oh, my bad. But yeah. So I hope that after watching a lot of this, as y'all see, I finally was able to put song titles and stuff on the screen. Oh damn! It closed my damn app, my song title app. I had it open. But yeah, I finally was able to put song titles, since everybody be asking, about the music and whatnot. I'm like, man, let me add this so I can, not always have to tell people, what song it is. There we go. Okay. I closed it by mistake. Yo, Effect, what's going on? So yeah, now y'all finally will know the music that I'm playing without me having to, I just got a text message. But yeah, I'm glad I added that, so y'all don't have to, oh, what track is that? What track is that? What track is that? Now y'all know. But I hope, after this episode, y'all have a bit more of an understanding of what punishment is in general. Like I said, this is a concept that's usually lost to newer players, but even veterans still have their times where they struggle with the concept. And like I said, it takes a lot of practice. Oh yeah, because I was snacking in the background too, Big Griddle. I was hungry, but I hope that everything said here, that you take it into the lab and further try to up your game as far as like punishment, because again, this is something that's going to help you take your game to the next level, especially if you like fighting stuff that you're having trouble with, or you're letting your opponent get away with like complete murder. And nothing drives me more crazy than when somebody is like playing a person and they're doing some of the most unsafe stuff I've ever seen, and they just letting them live for it. I'm like, dog, you could have destroyed them for that. Like, and this is whatever. Like, if I know about said fighting game and I have the knowledge to know that, oh, that's unsafe, why are you letting them get away with that? I'm going to say that. See, Megas, how do you know when to sidestep and sidewalk? I'm trying to get better 3D movement, but I feel like I have poor judgments. I seem to get hit every time I try to use evasion. Well, in 3D games, like I said, you have the option, of course, to sidestep, but you have to know, again, this is where knowledge comes in. You have to know when a move is linear or even in a string, like I showed you with the law situation. You have to know the weak side of the string. Like I said, this is something where you have to just intricately sit in practice mode and figure out, because it's bad to just constantly sidestep and sidewalk in neutral. It's bad to do that because, you know, homing moves exist. And like, especially me, I'm good for that. If I see you excessively sidestepping, I'm like going to, you know, move and wow, that was random. Anyway, if I see you excessively sidestepping, shout out to Megas on being quick with that, by the way. If I see you excessively sidestepping, then I'm going to abuse homing moves. Because if you're mindlessly doing that in the neutral, then, you know, look, I take the free damage. Dwayne, what's going on? You coming in here this early trying to troll? You come in here this early trying to troll? But anyway, when you're excessively doing that, I'm gonna definitely abuse homing moves. This is why I say you have to know when to step. You have to know when to step, and you can't just mindlessly do it, because you're giving up free damage, and you possibly could set up to lose your positioning too. Because another thing I might do is, if I see you excessively sidestepping, I'm going to then move to try to trap you. So that's why movement is so big in 3D games. Like, movement is so big. Like, it's oh man, it's important, very important. But let's see, I actually step in clutch moments though, but I also don't do the optimal punish when I do step. Well, again, that's why it's important to know and be aware of what to use when you do step. And again, this is a practice mode thing. If you want to get better at doing it, you have to constantly practice to the point where when you see said situation, it's second nature, and then you just react. You're not even really thinking about it, because, like, you know, people may give Dragon Ball Super trash, but the whole concept that they did about Ultra Instinct, where it's just reacting, and because you lose time thinking too much. When you're thinking too much, you'll miss the opportunity, and then your reaction is not there because you're thinking too much. So, at their point, you miss your window opportunity to react, and now, like, oh yeah, this is what you do. But look, by the time you figured it out, you done lost the opportunity. What about blocking low? Oh, like twitch ducking, flinch blocking versus going down back, or twitch ducking. Twitch ducking is good and bad. if I had to. The good part is if you're going against, I say, when it's good. It's good when you go against somebody that excessively likes to either do lows or in certain matchups where, you know, like say you're fighting Steve. Steve has a lot of high, or Josie. They have a lot of highs. So Twitch ducking, but don't get me wrong, you have to know when to duck too. You can't just do it, because then now this is the bad side of it. Now, when you Twitch duck so much and your opponent notices it, like me for example, if I know you're Twitch ducking excessively, I am going to pummel you with mids. I'm going to mid you to death. As a matter of fact, I remember playing a player, I hit him with 8 mids because he would not stop Twitch ducking. I was like, dude, I see you ducking. And that's what makes it bad. That's the bad side of it. So it's good and bad to it. Quite personally though, I don't really do it. I don't duck much anyway. Part of that is because I know how to go in and out really well. But even I said I have to get better at like consistently ducking lows. But I use my movement, my in and out game so much that it's not really easy to hit me with lows. Not super easy. I won't say I don't get hit by them, because I do get hit by them. Maybe not a whole, but all of us get hit by them. So, but you know, using the in and out game, the stick and move, it's kind of hard to consistently go for lows against a style like that. But that's why it's good and bad though. I wouldn't recommend basing your entire game off of it though, because when it's only really going to work on probably intermediate to lower level players, but players who've been around the block and are pretty good and got a lot of experience, you're gonna end up giving up free damage like doing that. Or you Twitch duck, and then let's say like for instance, if I'm using Lars and I see you Twitch ducking and I orbital, guess what you just did? You just gave me access to a launch into big damage doing that, because you're excessively doing it. And I noticed that you know, kept doing it. Marky Paulson, thanks for dropping in. But yeah, it could be a very daunting punishment. Can be daunting, it can be vast, but again, once you get the hang of it and you start consistently practicing it, you're gonna definitely feel good about you know, like, oh yeah, I'm getting it, I'm understanding it, and go from there. Make sure that's still working. Okay, yep, we still good with that. Okay. But if anybody has any further questions, or you know, maybe share your experiences with punishment, or if there's something you still don't get or understand, you have the floor. This is the part of the podcast where I've allowed that. Said I've gotten too used to using 2-4 as a punish, so I can go for a knockdown mix-up. Now, this is also, it's a good thing you brought that up, Dwayne. This is what I meant by the varying situations. Now, some punishments give you a knockdown that gives you, and you know, whenever you get a knockdown, you get an advantage. You're advantageous when you get a knockdown. So, if you have a character that's really good at mixing up, knockdowns are what you want then. Especially with characters that, like I said, bank, they can cash in heavily off knockdowns. It's like the Fahkumram mix-up that I show, or I mean not mix-up, but knockdown Oki. that I showed at the wall where he's plus 26, he pretty much can do a plethora of stuff with that much frame advantage. So yeah, I understand why you're doing that. But again, when you do use that, you have to realize where you are on the level. Would it be the smartest thing to do in this situation? Like, you don't want to go for 2-4 when you could have went for a bigger punishment and killed the person. Like, you don't always want to do, or if you're trying to do that to get into the opponent's head and put them in a mental blender, therefore they make further mistakes, that's a thing too. So I'm not going to say what you're doing is wrong, but always remember you have options and exercise, whichever is the best option. Because when you can do that, when you can distinguish that, that makes you a very dangerous player. Decision making, pretty much. And I'm thinking about doing a podcast dedicated to decision making. I'm thinking about doing that. That's not going to be the next episode, but in the future I may plan to do an episode about that, because decision making is bigger than what people think. Said 2-4 is 30 damage. Yeah, damage again, but great punishment isn't always necessarily damage, as I showed a little earlier with the visual example I gave. While damage is good, but again, with that damage, do you keep your positioning? Do you gain plus frames? Do you gain, there's a lot of things you need to consider when you're going for certain punishment in certain situations. Like I said, certain situations call for, do I watch anime? Not as much as I used to. Like, I'm not gonna act like I'm a buff in it when I'm really not. I'm not one of those type of people. Of course, I have my little stuff that I watch, but I'm not a weeb. I'm definitely not gonna call myself that. Let's see. I see Megas. You asked the question. Let me see. You play Gen as well, so you have knowledge of electrics. How fast? It's not really okay. I saw you mention fast. It's not really about doing it fast. It's more so getting a clean input. Cause you could do the input for electric slow. You could do it slow. Side Cry, thanks for the donation. Appreciate it. Hey, let me see. Jesus 92. The primary goal from punishment is advantage. What kind of advantage gives you the best advantage after the punish? Well, Jesus, that could, like I said, that could vary, because if it depends on where, like I showed visually earlier in the episode, two types of punishment with Fahkumram, where Law's flip kick is like -17, and I did down forward 2-3, which is the fist into the kick that knocks you down. That's the correct punish based on frames, but we're near the wall. My follow-up was minuscule compared to the second one I did, which was forward 2-1, where I got the wall splat and I was able to get wall damage. So it's situated. Punishment can be situational too. And again, that's why it takes like the acronym that I came up with, CAR, knowledge, awareness, reactions. That's something you need to practice or have in your mind when it comes to punishment. Exactly, John. Yeah, John, shout out to you for this this music, this SMG music display, man, it works like a charm. As you can see, now my song names are being displayed even though I'm using iTunes. So shout out to you for the clutch. That's very clutch because I like using iTunes. I don't really care to use YouTube because, you know, it's videos and videos are all not the same. They don't share the same quality of sound. So that's my biggest thing. Or it may not even be the original version of the song. It might be a muffled sound like it's underwater style. I said nope, I don't want that. So the only thing is, you know, I guess song requests would be cool, but since it's iTunes and I have access to everything on iTunes, people, you know, can tell me what they want to hear. Because I know Jeremiah does that. You know, he's the electronic music god. You know, I just type it into iTunes and pop it up. So, you know, but back on topic though. You don't have access to everything, but you have access to a lot. I understand there are certain things that are just on YouTube, but that's not common. Like those rare gems, they're rare gems because they're rare. But personally, I just prefer it's the sound quality that I'm worried about. But anyway, back to punishment. But the acronym I came up with, CAR. Knowledge, awareness, reactions. If you practice that when it comes to punishment, you definitely so anyone want to practice online, I need to get my punishment right after this. Oh man. But like I said, this is y'all opportunity for, you know, like I said, any questions or to share experiences. You can do that now. If you have any further questions about punishment, or maybe share match things when you played and maybe, you know, did this, that, and the third. Take it to the lab offline first. Yeah, that is important too, because some things might work online and then it don't work offline. Playing Jin makes me realize he needs a new mid. Really? You think so? I'm trying to think what other mid would they really give him though. Like what's a mid you would give him? So 4 is not worth it? Yeah, but crouch dash, whoa, that's while standing 3 basically. While standing 3 basically, but you just doing it out of wave dash. But I don't know. So they increase pushback so it's harder to convert. I convert off of it still pretty consistently. You can't get the brain dead stuff he was doing in season 2. Like season 2, it was too good. Like that's why they changed it, because getting hit by, well, see, that's online. You can't solely base it off online. Online, everything changes. If you can consistently hit it offline, that's the thing. Because online, yeah, you can do it fine offline, yeah, because you don't have to worry about lag. You don't have to worry about anything like that. So the key is if it works offline. If it sucks offline too, then yes, it's a problem. But you need a poke like Armor King's down too. Well, to be honest, Trizzy, the Misha McClan have never really been heavy in the poke department. They're all about movement, spacing, and punishment, because they hit hard as shit. So it's like if you make a mistake against them, you could die. But I don't know. But the thing is, like y'all saying Miz, I'm trying to think of what Miz they would give him. Is it My Dixie Wrecked? Wrecked? Is that supposed to be wrecked? I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Like I said, I hate messing up Twitch names. But what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, and he has 1 and 2 good low. But the thing is, what would we really give him new? Like, that's the thing. Like, we saying he could use this, he could use that, but what kind of meal would they give him though? Like, cause he does have down back 2-3. He does have change the frames on back forward 2. What, make it faster? Oh, Dixie? Okay, I just say Dixie. Okay. Well, Dixie, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Said faster? Well, here's the thing. Back forward 2 would actually be better if you couldn't get out of that'd be retarded if they made that faster. But back forward 2 would be better if these newer, because I think this primarily started with like the newer Tekken games. Now on counter hit, back forward 2 puts you in a crumple state. If you couldn't press, the escape to get out of the crumple, that move would be just fine as it is. Cause you could like do that and then do electric wind hook to get a tailspin convert, and it hurts. But I don't know. Making that faster would be kind of crazy though. Because if you make that faster, then remember that's the start of a string. So you would have to alter that entire string. Actually, now that I think about it, that's why that probably wouldn't be fully plausible. So Grand Kai, yo, what's going on, brother? How does spacing work when it comes to punishing? Spacing that's a pretty open-ended question because spacing is most prevalent when it comes to with punishment. Of course, you can use spacing as well to just get somebody to react with a button. Crouch dash, or make crouch dash 1 safer. The electric version, yes, not the regular one. Not the regular one. The electric one to me should be safe, but not the regular one. But yeah, to go back to Grand Kai's question, spacing, like I said, can be used because remember you have more than one type of. You have offensive spacing and you have defensive spacing. Offensive spacing is usually used to apply pressure, and that's even just through moving alone. And usually when you can use that concept well, offensive spacing, you can get people to just chuck out a launcher. Because, most people get scared when they're being heavily pressured. So they'll just chuck out something to get you off of them or take a big dumb risk. And then it's up to you to then, make them pay for taking that risk. And then, of course, defensive spacing is more so, the retreat version and just get them to make a myriad of mistakes and punish them for it. So there's a lot to that. There's a lot. Yeah, but I hope you can understand that. That's just a quick little overview of that. Quick overview, but it is definitely one of them concepts where it takes time to like fully get down. Said bring Laser Scraper back. Play Devil Jin. Zero, what's going on? I am good. It's Saturday morning. I'm chilling with you guys. Podcast. Devil Jin is weird to play. Hey Dwayne, have you played Tekken 3? Have you played Tekken 3? Yo, Bunny, what's up? I know, right? The title of the podcast is too slick. And it plays off my name too, so it works. Yeah, branding. I know about branding. Well, good morning. Say, yes, I did. It's the FF cancels. It sounds like you got to get your cancel game up, sir. Okay, I appreciate the answer. As you know, I'm trying to grow at Creative Space and standing my ground. This helps. Yeah, that's important. Once you understand spacing, especially in a game like Tekken, navigating matches will become easier to do. They become a lot easier to do. You'll understand when to go for attacks. You'll understand when to apply pressure, when to space and wait for mistakes. Like, those things will become easier to do. And of course, understanding spacing is also, understanding range. Like, with the character that you're using, you have to know where their tools are the most effective. And then once you know that, you can then kind of develop your game plan as far as using move usage and things like that. So I can Zen cancel, Snake Dash cancel, but FF cancel I cannot do for some reason. Well, you learned how to do the first two, so I'm sure you can learn how to do that as well, sir. It just takes time and practice. I remember way years back, I couldn't do an electric. Yo, Panther, thanks for the host, bro. But yeah, I couldn't do electrics to save my life. Of course, that was over 10 years ago, but I couldn't do them. Then when I learned how to do them, or like the proper technique, and I just kept practicing, I started to do it. Said, where's the YouTube tutorial Mind of a Pro Player? I actually done one called Evolution of a Player. That was episode 2. That's on my YouTube, L Trains Fighting Dojo. So if you want to check that one out, that one is up. I think you was in here. I'm about to say, I think you were in here. Yeah, I think you were in that episode. I think so. But anybody else have any questions, or, like I said, this usually the final 30 minutes of the podcast. I open up the floor for that. Just to talk to you guys too. These are usually 2-hour episodes. When I first started off, the first episodes were a little lengthier, but I'm trying to be concise. Concise with the time, because this can be a lot of information. And I figure, a 2-hour block can help you narrow it down and hone in on what you need to see, or the parts you really need to know. Also, each and every episode is highlighted to here, but also uploaded to my YouTube as soon as it's over with. So if you want to be able to watch the run back on here on YouTube, you will be able to. Yeah, Zero, exactly. This is why I try not to, especially when I'm teaching people, I try not to overload them with information, because I like to do gradual teaching. So like the skill level that you're at, I would just focus on that. So if you're a beginner, I'm only gonna talk to you at a beginner level. Then when you graduate to intermediate, then I'm gonna go intermediate. Then when you get to advanced, then that's when I bring out You know what, John? Exactly. A lot of times it is hard because people want to learn how to run before they can crawl and walk. And that hurts you a lot. Because if you per se try to run and you don't know that, and then it's like that player. I'll give an example of this as far as the player. It's like that player that goes on YouTube and they watch all these pro players and they try to reenact these setups and whatnot, and they know how to, they know how to do the setup, like execute it, but they don't understand how to make it work. They don't understand the mental behind it. Like all of these, the prerequisites are missing. You just know the final part, but the other pieces are missing. The other pieces are missing, and therefore you can't. Here we go again. Say Zero, I can do instant D cancels now thanks to me and many different texts now. Well, I'm glad I was able to help you as far as Lars. That's the goal, to help people plan. Exactly, John. They understand the how, but not the why. Said, how will a person be able to gauge the process of crawling, walking, and running? Well, that's the simple. First, you have to know where you are as a player. If you know you're a beginner, you should not be trying to, play in the advanced class yet, because that's how people end up quitting. That's how people end up quitting, because they jump too far ahead. When you're starting off, it's best to play with people at the same skill. Like if you can, find a training partner that's around the same level as you, especially when you're getting started, because y'all both can help each other get better. And then when you feel like you can consistently fight beginners well, then begin to inch your way up. Find somebody slightly better than you. Is it Soul Seal? Is that how it is? Thanks for the follow, appreciate it. But yeah, if you have to gradually build up, because when you try to go too fast, you can set yourself up for failure. You could definitely set yourself up for failure. And then, like I said, you'll end up leading up quitting, and yeah. But Panther, what's going on, man? What's going on? I know you just tuning in, so you'd have missed quite a bit, but as you know, the archive is going up, so you ain't got to worry about that. But yeah, and also on the side note, I hope everybody has been being safe during this pandemic. I can't wait till it ends. I miss seeing my friends, my bros. Luckily, I can still see the lady and stuff like that. I think she's at work right now, but yeah, she still has to work too. So, but I hope everybody's being safe. Your families are good. Because I know people that lost people. That's one of the other sad things about this pandemic, is a lot of people have died, a lot of people have passed. So it's definitely dire times. So I hope everybody is staying safe and getting closer with their families too. Because if it's one thing that this pandemic has done, is allow us to be with our families and to further bond and grow together. So, but again, the floor is still open for you guys. If you have any more questions about punishment and how to apply it, the floor is yours. Got about 10 minutes left of the episode. It's the lady texting me right now, actually. I mean punishment in general. But if you are a Tekken player, you know, because I did show even Street Fighter during this stream too, or this podcast too. So, because punishment is a general concept. It applies in all fighting games. So it's not just Tekken exclusive. But if you had a Tekken question, go ahead and shoot, Souls. Supercard. Should you learn easy characters or hard characters when starting off in T7? This is kind of an open-ended question because, you know, the main thing that I say normally when I say this is a character that can help you learn Tekken. You know, I usually say Jack or Paul or even Asuka or whatnot, like characters that can help you learn the basics of Tekken. Because when you're a new player coming to Tekken and you say, oh, I want to learn Devil Jin, but honestly, as time passes, you can pick who you want, but make sure that you are learning the basics. So now I just say that. Because you gotta when it comes to any fighting game, it doesn't matter. Tekken, Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, Unio, Grand Blue, whatever fighting game you decide to play, you have to like your character. Because if you don't like your character, you're not gonna have the fun time playing. You're not. You're not gonna enjoy the game. So which character do I think is the hardest to learn? To maximum capacity, I would say Nina. Because Nina is very execution heavy, and applying all of her tools properly is difficult. Like knowing when to use Hayashida step, the butterfly loops. Nina is in her own class of hard. That's why to the people that are Nina specialists, man, y'all are troopers. And the thing is, you know, like even myself, like I can move with her and stuff like that. It's just her character don't draw me in to want to play her. And then like trying to do that during tournament, I know that's difficult. Because you have to be able to execute with her and still deal with your nerves and the stress of the match. So it's like, Lord have mercy. No. It's not saying that I can't learn her, but I don't like her enough as a character to want to even do that. But if I had to say the hardest character, probably her. And then after that, and we're talking about to maximum efficiency. Her, after that, probably Brian. Like hardest, it'd be her, Brian, Steve. Of course, the Mishimas are on that list too. I just bunched them together. If I had to say the hardest, Nina, Mishimas, Brian, Steve. Who could go in the last? Lei. Yeah, Lei. Those are the hardest characters in my humble opinion. So yeah, Nina, Mishimas, Steve, Brian, Lei. Those are the hardest characters. Tactical Viking, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, that's probably my 5. That's why you know when you see them characters, it's not you won't see them as much as you'll see like Paul. like I could see a Paul a dime a dozen. But a Lei, yeah, rarely see that. And yeah, Nina's definitely the hardest. So what's that supposed to mean? Now, John, you being a Paul Main, I think you know what I mean by that. I think you know what I mean. Say, hey, can you watch something real fast? What is that something? I mean, if it pertains to the topic, we can definitely throw it up on the screen real quick. For sure. Because I only got about 5 minutes left before I wrap this YouTube vid. So he's a Paul Main, not a pocket player. This song, let me see. Let's see what this is. Hold on. I'm gonna have to probably pause the music for this. Oh, it's a funny video. I guess we could end on a humorous note. Cause I saw a weird Soulja Boy face. Hold on, let me pause this real quick. See, change the view. Okay. Let's see what this is.
Y'all niggas, bro, y'all better turn y'all speakers down, bro. I don't give no fuck, bro. I don't care if the music loud, nigga. I'm not your daddy, nigga. Turn your speakers down, pussy, nigga.
Why is
y'all stop complaining like some
so
hoes.
retarded?
Fuck wrong with y'all.
Wow. I can't, dog. I can't with Soulja Boy, man. I can't. Jesus. That was so loud it was jarring. Like, why would you want to play? I can't deal. I can't deal, dog. What is wrong with him? Like, that bass was jarring. Uranus 008, thanks for the follow. That was jarring. Like, I wouldn't even. Headphone users died that day. Headphone users died. They all perished. They perished that day. Like, oh my God. Like, why? Why would you do that? Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Yeah. We're just gonna leave that where it's at. So, well, we pretty much are getting near the end of the stream. So, again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in this morning. Also, oh yes, I am going to make this announcement as well. So the sub giveaway. As y'all know, I did say I would announce that during this episode. I will be picking 3 subscribers. 3 random subscribers. And you all will be getting copies of the brand new Streets of Rage 4 coming out on the 30th. That's the classic, well, the 4th version of the classic beat 'em upper. So it's kind of like, you know, if y'all played that Scott Pilgrim game that was on PSN or whatever, and you walk around beating up a bunch of people with your friends, because you can co-op, you can play with a friend or play, you know, online. I heard it's online co-op too, so, you know, I'm definitely getting that. And, you know, I want 3 other people to share in on the fun too. So I'll be going through my subscriber list. You have to be a subscriber though. Doesn't matter how you subscribe. So if you have Amazon, yes, I'm definitely getting it on Steam, because I want to be able to play that on the laptop wherever I'm at, if I'm on the laptop. So, but yeah, so I probably have it for PS4 as well too, though. But I'm getting it for Steam first. But you trying to go straight on the 30th? So yeah, but as I was saying, there's 3 subscribers, and it doesn't matter how you subscribe. So if you have Amazon and you're Prime, you're Amazon Prime, and you use your Prime subscription, you can do that, or whatever tier you decide to subscribe with, you can. But yes, that is the giveaway of that. And I'll probably repost that announcement on Twitter, on my Twitter page, which is at ltrain_313. So be sure to follow me on there if you're not. And also, like I said, this episode will be highlighted and archived on here, but it also will be available on YouTube, my YouTube as well, which is L Train's Fighting Dojo. So as soon as this episode is over, it will be uploaded to there as well. So be sure to subscribe there as well. And on that note, I'm going to bid y'all adieu. And like I said, again, thanks for tuning in. I definitely appreciate y'all for kicking it with me this Saturday morning. Let's see. Oh, I see my bro Hitaki Kakashi has a lobby or a session going. I think it's his PC session that he does on Saturdays. So y'all be sure to go there and show him some love. And if you want to see some actual Tekken matches, hell, I might even join the lobby myself and play a little bit if I can. But Tactical Viking, thanks for the follow on Twitter as well. And so, but yeah, I will bid y'all adieu. Again, everybody stay safe during these times. Take care of yourselves. Do whatever you can to avoid catching this virus. And like I said, stay home. If you absolutely do not have to go out, do not. Keep yourself safe. You know, I would hate to hear, you know, on social media that something that happened to any of y'all. So, you know, again, stay safe. You know, relax, chill at the crib, crack a drink, smoke some, whatever you do, or whatever you do to chill, whatever your vice is, do that. But I'm going to send y'all to the homie.